When it comes to Quant, could this very well just be the beginning of something that could be so legendary? I think so. Even though nothing I say is financial advice, ultimately speaking, despite the pretty okay recovery that we see as of right now when it comes to Quant, $5,000, that's still my price target for this bull run. Now, some people may be thinking, okay, even despite the slight recovery, that's still a ways to go because they say $5,000. It's currently around a 57x from here, so I understand that. But the way to take a look at it is that it doesn't seem that crazy because if Quant were to go to that price, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $60 billion, which I don't think is too bad because let's say during a fully fledged bull run, Bitcoin went to the price of $300,000, and let's say the market cap at that point was around $6 trillion, and let's say Ethereum went to a market cap of, let's say, around $1.5 trillion or maybe even $2 trillion, but let's say for simplicity's sake, let's say $2 trillion, and then Bitcoin is $6 trillion. Now, let's say out of that $8 trillion combined, right? Are we saying that, let's say, around 60 billion of that can't flow into this? Keep in mind, $1 trillion is literally $1,000 billion. So then, again, just let that sink in. Could some flow into this during a fully fledged bull run? It doesn't seem that crazy, in my opinion. Many people out there are saying that, hey, you know what? Dogecoin is going to go to a $160 billion market cap. They're saying that Shiba Inu is going to go to around 80 billion. But then something like Quant can't, let's say, go to around 60 billion in terms of market cap during a fully fledged bull run? I don't see why not, because I feel like this bull run could be so legendary. Keep in mind, I think we can all agree that the market when it comes to altcoins aren't doing the best as of right now. And then still, even despite that, with Bitcoin never ever reaching $150,000 yet, at least at the time of this recording, we still have over 600 million crypto owners according to Crypto.com research. Now, could you imagine that? So what would happen if Bitcoin went to the price of $200,000 or let's say $300,000? Would there only be this many crypto owners or would there be more? Logically, hypothetically, I think there would be more, maybe 700 million, maybe even over 800 million. Who knows? Only time will tell, but I just kind of feel like despite all the bullish factors we have as of right now, I think it could maybe be even greater, especially if the market picks up in a massive way. And I think that this bull run right here could really just, put the 2021 bull run to shame. I really do believe that because in the peak of the 2021 bull run, only around 300 million crypto owners. I mean, come on. We pretty much have double already and we're not even in a fully fledged bull run yet. So I really do believe that better days are ahead. And some people out there seem to think that Quant won't gain attention. They think it's really bad, but I disagree with that because I think it's very hard to really find a project that is as useful as Quant, in my opinion at least. There's a lot of fun projects like meme coins, DeFi projects, NFTs, whatever, but when it comes to a useful project, it's kind of rare to find really. And I think Quant is useful because when we take a look at the Quant network, it's made up of something called the Overledger OS and the Overledger network. Now, let me explain first what the Overledger OS, does basically, right? Now, what that does is that it allows individuals to make something called multi-chain applications. Now, multi-chain applications are applications that are built on top of multiple blockchains, as the name goes. However, again, instead of building on only just one blockchain, this can be done in multiple blockchains. Now, what is the benefit of this? It's like, for instance, let's say I'm only building on one blockchain. There might be some drawbacks, right? Like maybe the blockchain is very scalable, very fast, but then the gas fees are a problem. Or let's say I build on another blockchain, gas fees are not a problem, but then it's not scalable and it's not fast. Again, if I'm only stuck with one blockchain, yes, sure, I have to be happy with its advantages, but I also have to deal with its disadvantages. Now, what is a way to kind of remedy that? I think through multi-chain applications, because let's say I want to build an application that is very secure through the Overledger OS. I can, leverage the security of the Bitcoin blockchain, but then maybe, Bitcoin proof of work, it's a little bit slow, notoriously, in my opinion. So again, how can we supplement that speed? That is through something like, the Stellar blockchain, which is notoriously known for being very fast. And I'm not talking about iShow speed. I'm talking about the actual speed of this. But even besides that, isn't that amazing? Imagine through the Overledger OS, if I could make an application that takes advantage of the Bitcoin blockchain and then let's say at the same time the Stellar blockchain, that's amazing. Now, people will argue, right, when I say this, oh, but we don't see that many multi-chain applications out there. Why does this even matter if it's so good? Why isn't there mass adoption? Well, in my opinion, The answer is very simple. That type of stuff takes years. It doesn't happen like overnight. It doesn't happen like in a month or two. And I don't think we'll see mass scale adoption for something like this in the next 6 to 10 months. I just don't think so. But it doesn't really matter because when the bull run is in fifth gear, when there's that, attention, that hype, people at that point, from what I've noticed, especially back in 2021, they rarely care about adoption. They more so care about the story, the narrative. They care more so about what something could be and the impact that it could very well do, as opposed to what it's already doing currently. Because we see many projects out there, be focused on blockchain gaming, the metaverse, all this type of stuff. They say they're going to do this, do that. They never launch anything. But then still, during a fully fledged bull run, they do very well. So then, again, I think that if anything showcases that the sentiment as of right now more so cares about the hype and attention as opposed to what it's really doing in terms of the adoption. Maybe in 5 or 10 years, it might be different. But then I'm just saying, as of right now, the market seems like it doesn't really care about that, at least from what I've seen. Now that I've talked about the Overledger OS, let me explain the Overledger network. The Overledger network is actually quite more simple than the Overledger OS, but basically it is made up of the Overledger OS users, and on there, they can do a bunch of stuff like share their data, their apps, their resources, and monetize them. So that's very amazing. So again, when I talk about the Quant network, I think it's very simple and easy to understand, at least in my opinion. And I think that it gets the job done, right? It's very useful. The way I view it as well is that I am not looking for a 1000x, right? I'm not looking for a microcap, but then I'm not looking for a 3x either. So then what is a good balance in between for me? I think something like Quant, right? Hypothetically, maybe achieving great things, we'll have to wait and see. But the crazy thing is that when it comes to something like Quant, people like to say, oh man, this is terrible. Well, I mean, come on. $1,000 even is already well over 10x from here. So I can't really complain really when it comes to Quant. Let's say it never even achieves $5,000. Even $1,000 seems already very impressive, but I'm just saying, even besides that point, when it comes to Quant, all I got to do right now is just stay patient, continue to acquire more, hold, and I just wait because the market is going to wake up when it wants to wake up. It's not going to wake up when I pull up a price chart and draw some random triangles. If I draw SpongeBob or Mickey Mouse, it's not going to change anything, right? So when people like to ask me, hey, why don't you pull up a price chart and, demand the market to go up? It doesn't work that way. The market's not going to listen to me. But then the only thing I can control is myself, right? Acquire more, hold, and I just wait because when the market hypothetically does wake up, which all signs are indicating that, if this recovery does continue and Bitcoin has that next leg up, we could very well see a very amazing start to a hopefully very fantastic altcoin season. And it's going to happen when it's going to happen. So, you know what? I can't control that. The only thing I can control is accumulating, holding, and just waiting, which is why I'm doing that. And $5,000 when it comes to Quant wouldn't surprise me whatsoever during this bull run. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain. Catch y'all in the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.